All right, welcome to Fish On with Paul T. My name's Paul, and I'm going to take you on a bunch of adventures. Deep sea fishing, freshwater fishing, kayak fishing, boat fishing, and shore fishing. I hope you subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for all my exciting adventures. Today we're fishing in North Carolina, and we are going to fish for catfish, starting out using chicken dog pieces. So let's see what we can catch today. It's about 7:30 in the morning and temperatures are about 82 degrees. Water is fairly calm, a couple mile-an-hour wind blowing in. Got some humidity coming off the water. We just had some storms roll through about 20 minutes ago. Let's go fishing. I do is I like to use about a 1-inch chunk, and I'm using a bait hook. I just go through skin to skin, put it up on the hook, using 12-pound test right now, keep my drag fairly tight, and we're going out in about 8 feet of water right here off of the levee. And that's a dam over on that side. This is the deepest part of this lake. The lake is 2 miles radius. Hopefully it's going to be a good fishing morning. I love it out in North Carolina here. You got a lot of wildlife. You got hawks, blue heron, turtles, snakes, owls. Got a lot of copperheads around here. You got snapping turtles, painted turtles. There's some big turtles around here too. I believe the state record on the blue catfish is 115 pounds or 118 pounds. Oh, there we go. Fish on. A lively one. Not that big, but a beautiful cat. Not a bad way to start the morning there. All right, easy there, fella. Easy. And what we do is we like to catch and release everything. Go on, fella. Of course, we all know about being careful for the catfish. Not to get stung or poked with a catfish. I'm sure we all had our experiences at some point in our life if we fished. I know I was young when I got hit in the foot. It actually went through my sneaker. Oh, and another hit. Oh, bait came off. Yeah, I've been fishing for my whole life. I grew up with a family of fishermen and women. My mother was an avid fisher woman. My father, my uncle, my brother, myself, and my mother, we used to go trout fishing when I was a kid. And then my father, my brother, my uncle, and I, of course, when my mother was home doing home chores, always preparing meals for us, we went out fishing when we could, usually on Saturdays, and did a lot of bass fishing also. I grew up in Connecticut. Got a lot of pickerel up there, bass, good sized perch, northern pike. They run in the Connecticut River. Connecticut River, they got the shad tournament. I actually placed second place a few years back in the shad tournament, and for bait we use what's called a willow leaf. If you're familiar, you know what I'm talking about. If not, it's about 1.5 to 2 inches long, and it has a wobbling effect like a shiner, almost like a Castmaster effect, but it's more of a spoon shape than the Castmaster's thicker. And what the fishermen like to do is paint their own design on them. They buy them when they're silver. There's one. Another one. Not a bad size, a little bigger than the last one. Real good, clean looking fish out here. Boy, sometimes they really swallow these things. See you later, buddy. Anyways, what the fishermen like to do with the willow leaves are paint their own design on, usually with nail polish. And I had one day left in the tournament, and I came in with 10 minutes to go, and actually caught the winning fish, which I'll be posting a picture of me getting the trophy, the check, and a bunch of fishing stuff for the prize. And another good hit right there. But anyways, on the trophy you have a fisherman with a pole, and off of the pole I hung a piece of fish line with my willow leaf, the lure that I actually caught the winning fish on. Well, a few years later, my son entered the junior division, and it was the last day of the tournament, and he was not catching nothing at all. So I says, Paulie, take the lure off of my trophy and use it. And he says, oh, Dad, I don't want to do that. What if I lose it? And I says, Paulie, Dad don't care if you lose it. I'd like it more if you had fun trying with it. So he took the lure, and would you believe, he took first place in the Shad Juniors tournament with the same lure that I used and took second place in. It was an amazing story. That's a good one there. I don't know if you've seen how I hook these. Everybody's got their own. I like to go skin, not on the areas where there's no skin. It just seems to have a little more hold. Once you have it in the water for a few minutes, it softens up on you, and a lot of times you'll cast and it'll fly off. Some fishermen like to microwave them ahead of time. Let them get a little crispy on the outside, almost like a jerky effect, and then refrigerate them overnight. Some fishermen swear by soaking them in Kool-Aid, garlic. You know, I just take mine straight out of the package, right from the store to the lake, cut them up, and as you can see, I have a lot of good luck. Another method I use, if you're watching, I don't just leave it there, which some fishermen, when they're catfishing, if they're using, you know, rotten night crawlers, chicken livers, pieces of meat, whatever their fancy, a lot of them will leave it out there and wait for them to take it. And I like to give it, see there's one there, I like to give it a little jig, almost like I'm working a little jig off the bottom or a rubber worm, and just keep it active off the bottom, and I seem to have good luck like that. You can see there's a leaf right there, and it's old. It's been sitting on the bottom for a while. You can see the darkness of it. Doesn't have a strong odor. Supposed to be getting more storms this afternoon, so a lot of times out here when the barometric pressure's dropping, the fish go crazy on a feeding frenzy. But like I said, we just had storms go through this morning, and of course, like any other place, the fish feed off of the worms and bugs that are washed into the lakes, rivers, streams, ponds. So they have their routine. Just like you got your fish that come out early morning fish, you got your evening fish, and there's always the overnight feeders. Bass, they're notorious to feed at night. I've caught several bass using a spinner bait at night. Of course, they use their stripes to pick up on any vibrations in the water. A lot of nice largemouth in North Carolina. I've caught a lot up in Connecticut, Massachusetts. North Carolina's got some good bass. I'll post another picture. I was in 2014. I've been down here for about 10 years. 2014. I was in the In-Fisherman magazine on the post board for catching a huge largemouth. It was 10 and a half pounds out here. And also I got pictures I'll post of that shad tournament, which when I got the trophy that I was talking about. And you'll see a picture of my son winning also. I'll post both of those. Ooh, getting a bunch of hits here. There we go. Fish on. Another method. Whoa, this is a better size one. Wow. Another method is nice. Look at that one. That's a good size right there. I'm not weighing any of these unless they get excessively big, but that one there goes about a pound and a half. Good size. Another method, as I was saying, a lot of fishermen actually not only do they leave it there, but they let the catfish take it, because there's a belief that they swallow it. Come on, stay still. I don't feel like getting stung this early in the morning. There we go. See you later, buddy. I don't, as you can see the way I'm fishing, I don't let them take it that long at all. It's nibble, nibble, poke, poke, and I set the hook. Just like if I was largemouth bass fishing. And on that note, the largemouth bass, you know, you use spinner baits out here. Good catfish, man. You use jig and pig, you use rubber worms, power baits, sluggos. Every time you think you got a largemouth on, man, I mean, sometimes it is, but I'll tell you, the catfish, they will hit anything. It's amazing. When I was a kid, I remember we used to let the night crawlers rot. The smellier the better, and leave them on the bottom and just wait and wait. And boy, my methods changed. But we all adapt and develop, adapt and adjust to different techniques. And hey, what works for me might not work for you. But I'm just telling you, that's a big snapper. Or we got hung up on the edge of the levee. Yeah, she is not moving. Sometimes, boy, you think you're stuck like that, and all of a sudden your line starts going out. And I'll tell you, there are some big turtles. I don't think I'm going to get that. I'll try walking down this end and see if I can get her off. Nope. I'll be. Look at that. Actually pulled it out. Everything's still good. That's what I like about using heavier tests too. She don't really stretch out on you. Especially when you're fishing the down trees and structure areas for bass. Of course, you try to make your lures as weedless as you can. There's one, fish on. All different size fish in here. That is about the size of the first couple. Nice looking though. And I'll tell you, this water out here, it gets, where I'm fishing right now, it gets murky. There's a lot of red clay in the area. So it has a tendency to, especially after it rains, to make the water real cloudy. See you later, buddy. So visibility, I would say after 2 feet gets real murky, and after 3 feet, forget about it. We'll be going out in different areas. I got a nice bass fishing kayak I designed myself. We got fish finders. I got tripods set up for the GoPro on the front, digital camera on the back, and I'll also be filming with my iPhone when possible. I got the vest for the GoPro, I got the hat set up for the GoPro. So I hope to bring you guys a lot of exciting footage, and I hope you subscribe to me and watch the adventures that I want to bring you. It's going to be some exciting times, and if you have any suggestions or would like to leave a comment, feel free to do so, and I will get back to each and every one of you as soon as I can with answers to your questions. Noticed out here too, once I get in too close, there is a bunch of pumpkin seeds and bluegills, warfish, so I will use those for bait. That's another adventure. I'll take my fly rod, I tie my own flies too. Be doing some adventures there, fish on. And I use my fly rod. That's another good size, not too bad. About a medium size compared to the biggest one, but you can see nice clean fish. Yeah, I take my fly rod out and I'll fill up my live well cooler. I got an aerator on it, and I will use them as a live bait. And going back to the story before, fishing for bass, you end up catching a lot of big catfish on the live bait. See you later, buddy. Right now, if you could see across the way, the sun's coming up. We got humidity coming off the water after the cool rain, and it's a nice little steam coming off. And when that steam hits you, it's almost like being in a sauna. It's warm air, moist warm air. Nice little cool breeze right now though. Not a strong one, a couple miles an hour, but it's a nice cool breeze. Different than what it's been. It's been humid out here. and it's gonna get humid today. But we'll do a lot of early morning fishing and a lot of evening fishing. A lot of times I like to come out before the sun rise, get all set up and hit those early morning bass too. A lot of areas out here you have to have town permits on top of your state license to fish certain areas and certain ponds and lakes. Residents, a lot of areas, if you're a resident of that town, they're free. And if you're a non-resident, there is a fee. They'll do a daily, it's just like if you go down the ocean for the day fishing. There's a daily fee, or you could do seasonal. Used to do a lot of deep sea fishing, a lot of Hyannis, Cape Cod. Of course, you'd always head over towards the race. Gets real choppy out there, but that's where the fishing is the best. Go for stripers. We'd always hit the flounder on the way in. Of course, you'd hit areas where the dogfish, sand sharks were on top of the water, and you couldn't help but catching them. Those things would eat everything and anything in sight. I think their morning feed here. Oh wow, nice one. Just came out of the water. I think their morning feed is just about slowing down over here. But anyways, like I was saying, I will post a picture of myself and my son accepting the trophies, checks, and gear in the shad tournaments up in Connecticut. I'll post a picture of me on the board, the brag board, in the in-fisherman with the largemouth, and I have a lot of pictures, but basically we're going to concentrate on the new adventures that we're about to embark on. I'll show you a kayak that I personally designed for my fishing too. I'll do a little video on that. And sometimes if I don't get one after a few casts, I'll change the piece of dog. I mean, it's just like changing bait when you're using bait. You know, if it's not working, try something different. Well, this here, we're going to use the same thing. Excuse me, we're just going to put on a fresh piece. And I'll take that old piece and throw it right in the water here, and sometimes I'll break it up, sometimes I won't, but I'll feed all the little fish over here. They hang right out here. They know what's coming. All right, now we got a fresh piece on there. Let's see if that makes a difference. I'm on this edge here. This is quite an incline on the levee. It's the dam. Oop, there's a hit already. So I'm always like leaning forward, and it hurts my back. So sometimes I gotta kind of stand sideways. There's one right there. See that fresh piece? Look at that. You know, maybe it does do something. Maybe it's just my imagination. But I think that fresh piece always sends out a nice scent. Just like using, if you use any kind of oils, bass oils, oh man, game fish oils, and you put that on your lure. A lot of times it, you know, after a few casts, you always put a little more on. So that whole time I have used, I got one more piece left for 2 hot dogs. And a pack usually comes with 8 to 10. So figure it out mathematically. And I don't buy no expensive dogs. I get the chicken dogs. $1.29 a package at my local store. There, oh man, that was a good one. Bait on that one. I love it though. It's fun. You know, gives you a lot of action. And you never know what you're going to pull in. There's some big catfish using this method here. You know, I tried that method. I tried that method with bigger bait, bigger fish. Not always true. I've put on little pieces and caught 5-pounders. I've put on big pieces, double chunks, and caught 1-pounders. All right, so now I gotta break up another one. My pack came with 8 dogs, so far I've only used 2. And what I do is I take my little scissors. I'll show you. Instead of breaking it with the hand, I just take my little scissors here, and I'll cut them like that. 1-inch chunks all the way across the dog. Make them nice and easy, and it keeps the skin tight on the edges, where if you were to do it with your hands and break it apart, a lot of times you end up pulling the skin on the next piece or the piece that's in your hand. And like I said, I like to use that skin, go skin to skin. If I'm using a big piece, I'll actually take the hot dog and I'll go up like this, and then I'll come down into the skin like that. or you could even make it weedless. But out here, I don't have to worry about, in this lake, being weedless in this area. I know this area. If you're not sure about an area and you want to make it weedless, do what I just showed you. Hey, Robin. All right, I'm feeling lucky on this one. Sometimes I ask my dad to throw down a little special blessing from heaven. Help me catch a big one. Sometimes with the traffic, see, we have a road over on that side where you can probably hear the sirens in the background, but it sounds like a highway. It really isn't. It's a back road, 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, and the way the sound comes and echoes off the trees into this valley, it sounds like a highway. Still hitting. Check the time, 8 o'clock. So we've been fishing for about a half an hour. Caught a good handful of fish. I hope you've had fun, as much fun as I did. And like I said, I hope you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure.